Hi, welcome back to Talk of the Town. LenCamarda, local author, drops by to talk a little bit about his international thriller, The Seventh Treasure. Lem, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from New York, born and raised, and then spent 40 years in the pharmaceutical industry, primarily internationally.
Okay.
And so I traveled all around the world, and then worked and lived overseas for about 15 years with my wife and daughter in Panama, Amsterdam, and Madrid, Spain.
Ah, interesting. So what drove you to take on the task of writing a novel?
I always loved writing. Even as a kid, I loved to do book reports. I like writing and I like art. So I would spend time on a beautiful cover of a book report and delve into it. So I enjoyed it very much. And it was just a natural thing. In business, you had to curb your creative drive, keep it simple. But as soon as I retired, then I put full-time effort into writing.
And tell me a little bit about The Seventh Treasure, which we have on the table here.
Well, story about a young woman is killed in a roadside accident in the mountains outside of Granada, Spain. And her brother, who heads up a training unit in the U.S. Secret Service, travels to Spain basically to bring her body back to America. And there, and in the company of a female lieutenant in the National Police Force, they discovered that the accident wasn't an accident. Okay. Somehow that her car was sabotaged, which seems incredulous. And soon all leads as to what happened and why disappear as there are mysterious killings and deaths, and the investigation comes to a standstill. So the protagonist, Jean Cerrone, retires from the service, travels to Spain, winds up working with Lieutenant Mercedes Garcia to investigate the death of his sister, and unwittingly discover a conspiracy that dates back to the time that the Moors surrendered their kingdom in Granada to Ferdinand and Isabella in 1492.
Wow.
So it's a modern mystery,
right.
But there's a lot of history and historical fiction.
I bet it's amazing. Did you also design the cover?
No. This is a painting by someone named David Roberts, and it's from 1834, I believe. And it's a picture, they call it the Tower of Comares, which is the Alhambra. And the Alhambra Palace in Granada is the centerpiece of the historical part of the novel. But it's a picture I saw online when I was researching the Alhambra. I loved it. I purchased it to frame it. And then I liked it so much, I said I want to make it part of the cover. So,
I love it. I love it. I think it's perfect. So I understand that all the sales and royalties for The Seventh Treasure are donated to charity.
That's right. It's split evenly between the Wounded Warriors Project and the Hilton Head Humane Association.
Very kind.
So direct sales and royalties, whenever they come in, 2 checks are written out every quarter.
Very nice. That's wonderful. Have you had other published works?
Well, I'm working on a sequel of this with the 2 main characters from The Seventh Treasure. But in between that, I belong to the Island Writers Network. And they publish anthologies, memoirs, short stories, and poetry about every 2 years.
Okay.
So over the last 4 books, I've had a short story in each one of them. And this book, the new version, Ebb and Flow, just came out now.
Right.
And my story in there is Matthew's Socks, a little bit about Hurricane Matthew. And
where can our viewers buy The Seventh Treasure?
Well, it's available everywhere. You can go to Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's got a hardcover, softcover, and Kindle or Nook editions. And on Hilton Head Island, the local Barnes & Noble, I checked the other day and they're out of stock, but they can order it. Okay. So it's available there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, thank you so much.
Glad to have you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
Thank
Happy New Year.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Lem.
Bye-bye.
And we will be right back with Talk of the Town.